what are the 5 mistakes you should avoid when moving to Brooksville, Florida? Guys, I'm here today to try and give you the 5 most common mistakes that I see when people buy a home or move to Brooksville, Florida, in the hopes that you can avoid making the same ones, because some of these lead to horror stories where people have to rent instead of buying, or, I hate to say it, lose tens of thousands of dollars. So it's super important that you watch this video. Please watch all the way to the end and please pay attention to what I'm saying here. I wish everybody who moved to the area could watch this video. It would make their transition so much smoother and hassle-free, but you guys have found it, so you have the benefit of it. Settle down and let's get into it. Hey guys, Ross Hardy from the Hardy team at Remax Marketing Specialist, local Brooksville resident and local real estate expert. If you're thinking of making the move to Brooksville or you want to learn more information, please be sure to reach out to us. We help families every single year move to the area. We've helped about 2,000 during the course of me being in real estate, and we'd love to make you the next ones. There's no time that's too early to start asking questions and doing your research, so please don't hesitate to reach out using the contact information below. We're always happy to help folks like you. Now, let's look at the mistakes you can avoid and dive right into the video. Okay, so mistake number 5 that we see people make when they move to Brooksville is they simply don't account for the extra city taxes that they're gonna have to pay in their property tax bill. So Brooksville really falls into a couple of different areas. You have within city limits and outside of city limits. Now, city limits might seem like it's downtown, but there are several areas miles outside of downtown Brooksville where you're still gonna pay the city taxes, and they can be about 30% on average more for a comparable home that's not inside the city tax district. Now, this was quite a shock to me when I moved to Brooksville and I saw the difference in the tax amounts, because for 14, 15 years, I lived in Spring Hill. And the home that I was moving to in Brooksville wasn't any more expensive or really any different to the one that was in Spring Hill. I was really surprised when I did my research about the property we were buying in Brooksville that the taxes were so different. So the house I was in Spring Hill, I was paying about $2,800 a year in taxes. And then the home I was buying in Brooksville was like $4,100, $4,200 a year. So you can see the difference in the amounts there on the property taxes. And even if you're buying a house in Brooksville city limits compared to non-city limits, they can be like a couple of hundred yards apart and have that 30-35% difference in taxes. It doesn't seem to make sense, right? So at a time where people are trying to stretch their budget and get the most bang for their buck with home prices increasing, the interest rates, we all know about them, city taxes are a really important thing to consider if you're going to be moving to a city tax district in Brooksville. So please be sure to do your research. The Hernando County Property Appraiser site has all of the property taxes on there. It's a public access website and you can compare them for different areas. But it's definitely a mistake that I see people make where they just do not pay attention to that fine detail and then wonder why when they're making their mortgage calculations, all of a sudden it's much higher than they were anticipating. Now, the next mistake we see people making is just flat out buying the wrong type of home. Again, like I said, I've been doing this for 19 years and not every time, but more commonly than not, this is what we see. We see people buy a bigger home in an area that they're not so keen on, as opposed to buying the smaller home in the area that they were originally dead set on. And then what might happen is the longer they spend there, they realize, man, I really wish we moved to that original area. And they'll end up listing their home 2 or 3 years later just to move to the area that they wanted to be in the first place. And I'll use myself as an example to the counterpoint here. When I moved to downtown Brooksville, which is just north of Tampa, originally we wanted to be there because we wanted to be able to walk to all of the bars and restaurants, walk to the bakery with the kids, ride our bikes to downtown and walk to all of the events and festivals that were there. It was really important for us to be able to do that. And unfortunately, most of the homes that are right downtown, because they're in the historic district, they have a premium price attached to them. Now, we looked at some of the areas outside of the city of Brooksville, right downtown, where it would be just a very small drive in to get to those things, and we could have got a heck of a lot more house for our money. Ultimately, what we decided to do was buy a house without the home office, which was one of our key requirements originally, to be right downtown. And it turns out to be one of the best decisions we ever made. And the reason I was able to make that decision is because I've seen so many people do the opposite and live to regret it. So we always encourage people to really have a great idea of where it is you want to be and what you want that to look like, and then we try and find the home for you there. Don't be tricked into going for the gorgeous, nicer, bigger home in an area where you're sacrificing some of those amenities only to regret it down the line. And then the other thing to do is, if schools are really important to you, be sure to do your research to make sure you're in the right school district. So as I always say, niche.com and Great Schools are awesome websites to do that research, but please make sure you do it, because again, we've had people end up in areas where they're like, man, these schools are not great. Now I'm gonna have to find a private school or a magnet school for my kid to go to. And it's just another added layer of anxiety, where if they just did their research correctly in the first place, they wouldn't have those problems. So just to wrap it all up in a nice little bow, in my opinion, it's better to sacrifice just a little on the home to be in the area that you want to be in, rather than to sacrifice the area that you want to be in to try and find the quote unquote perfect home. Mistake number 3 that we see people make when moving to Brooksville is that they underestimate the cost of repairs / renovations. Now there are some gorgeous historic homes in Brooksville. You've seen them, I'm sure, in some of my other videos. Homes dating back to the late 1800s, and it is a dream of mine to buy one of those homes and do a renovation on it and bring it back to its former glory. But here's the problem, right? A lot of these homes you have to redo the whole electrical system, the whole plumbing system. There might be foundational issues in the crawl space and stuff like that. And then a lot of these homes also are deeded historic homes by the city of Brooksville. That means there's very, very specific things you can and cannot do when renovating the property. It has to be done and retain the original character. So stuff like windows, if you're looking to replace those and it's a historical building, that's going to get out of control real quick price-wise when you're having to replace those. And then just in general, the cost of redoing stuff has increased exponentially over the last 5 years. So what may have been a $12,000 roof replacement 5 years ago, all of a sudden is a $20,000 roof replacement. And you think, well, how can it be that much? I just did mine 5 years ago. So definitely make sure you account for any renovation / maintenance replacement costs when you're buying a home in Brooksville, because it can be more expensive to do that than certain other areas. Hey guys, I hope you're getting value from this video about the 5 mistakes to avoid when buying a home or moving to Brooksville, Florida. Hopefully my 19 years of expertise are going to assist you to not make the same mistakes as other people have made. So if you're getting value from this, please like the video. Please leave a comment below and let me know what mistakes you think I've missed, so when I remake this video I can add them and make the list more comprehensive. Please subscribe to the channel and then hit the notification bell icon so that you can get alerted when we release new videos about pros and cons of living in an area, cost of living, some insider information, and then also home tours as well. Like I said, I'm a local real estate expert of 19 years. I love sharing my passion for Brooksville with other people. And we've helped over 2,000 families move to the Tampa Bay suburbs, including predominantly Brooksville and Spring Hill, and we'd love to help you guys be the next ones. So definitely reach out to us, ask us any questions you have. Now let's get back to the video. Okay guys, now mistake number 2 that we see people make is by using the wrong real estate agent. And I understand it could be easy for me to set this up because I am a real estate agent, but believe me when I tell you that a bad agent can cost you tens of thousands of dollars on your purchase. There's barely a week goes by where we don't do one of our morning calls and someone says, you're not gonna believe the other agent on the other side of this deal. They did X, Y, Z, and man, their customer's not even gonna know that it's cost them thousands of dollars. We truly do see it all. And I'll give you some very, very easy examples. I've had people come to me within a week of closing on a property where they were not aware that they weren't able to park RVs at the property. And it's really such a huge part of their life that they don't want to go park it up in a facility somewhere. They weren't told by the agent, they didn't do their own due diligence correctly, and it's cost them tons of money. If you're looking at waterfront properties, sometimes in areas there's direct access and indirect Gulf access where you have to go through a boat lift to get there. Guess what? If your boat that you have is bigger than what the capacity is for the boat lift, you're going to find yourself buying a new boat or not being able to get it out. Pretty expensive mistake again. And then how about buying a property on the wrong side of the street even? There's literally communities where being one side of the street to the next can affect the value of $15,000, $20,000. You might not readily notice, but the agent should do. So always reach out to an agent who has a full grasp of the area, knows what they're doing, and is not playing with your money. Now, like I said, our contact information is here. You can reach out to us if you have any questions. I'm gonna get back and talk about mistake number 1, and we can talk offline about this. And then mistake number 1 that we see people make, and again, it's really easy for me to set this up as a real estate agent, but it's that people don't get pre-approved in the correct timeline. We've seen people look at homes for months and months on end, and we've encouraged them to get their pre-approval letter, and they say, I'm good for it. When the time comes, I'll do it. And guess what? They go to get pre-approved when they're about 60 days out from wanting to move to the area and are ready to make offers on homes, only to find that they have a black mark on their credit for when they didn't pay their car payment 2 years ago that they totally forgot about, or they neglected to remember the student loans that they have that count towards their debt to income ratio. And all of a sudden they're not able to purchase properties and they have to go into a rental for a year. So please guys, there's never a time that's too early to reach out to a mortgage professional to talk about your options. They can talk about credit repair. They can help you clear up little marks on your credit that can be catastrophic if discovered at the last moment, but can be really easy to overcome if you do it in time. Also, if you're rushing around at the end, you might be forced into a loan that gives you a higher interest rate. It's going to cost you tens of thousands more dollars over the course of the loan. And I hate it when people end up shopping in a price point that's way above what they actually end up qualifying for, because they fall in love with all of these homes that are much nicer than they end up being able to afford, and they end up with a real dissatisfaction when they end up purchasing a property. So please, reach out to a local trusted mortgage professional. We have a list of people we can recommend to you, but it's essential that you do it in a timely manner so you know that you're going to be able to move when you want to. You can make sure you get the best loan that's available for you, make sure you're shopping in the right price point, and make sure that you're comfortable with the payments ahead of time. So guys, that's a wrap for the 5 mistakes to avoid when moving to Brooksville, Florida. I hope you found those useful, and like I said, please comment below, let me know any mistakes that you think I've missed so I can do a more comprehensive job next time. Please like the video, please subscribe and hit the notifications bell, and please reach out to us at the contact information below if you have any questions at all about Brooksville, what it's like to live here, what some of the communities are like, or to set up an appointment to get on a Zoom call and explore the options further. We love talking about it and we can't wait to speak to you. Till next time guys, please stay safe, enjoy the other videos. I'm Ross Hardy from the Hardy team. It's time to love where you live.